Hello everyone, CrystalFissure here with Liam TBH, standing in for Angus, standing in for Lieutenant, sitting in. Sorry,
Angus.
I meant to say sitting in for Angus. And this is Intelligent 64, who we were going to say has taken a vow of silence after the results of ISGP Great Voyage, but in reality, he's nursing a non-COVID related illness and can't talk. This man's voice went up about seven semitones at the wrestling show we were like filming on Saturday night. By the end of it, he literally was struggling to get out even more than 5 words. So unable to talk, but we all know we've got the next best thing, absolute noted chatterbox, Liam.
And face made for radio. So.
Yeah, exactly. Rip Cozzy on SAFM to be relevant to South Australia. Now, it was ISGP Great Voyage. First time event we've ever done.
Yeah.
We've never done that one before. Definitely not ripping off Pro Wrestling Noah's famous Great Voyage event.
We haven't done that before, right?
No, we don't rip off Noah. We don't rip off wrestling. We don't rip off. We're definitely not going to rip off sumo or F1 in the future. Absolutely not. We are a completely original product. But Great Voyage was great. 4 matches, 4 succinct matches. 4 completely different matches as well.
Original matches.
Yeah.
Fun matches.
Yeah. So we actually really got to cover off a bunch of stuff, starting with myself versus the returning Keyford after about a 15 or so month absence. This guy was originally going to be in their 3rd year anniversary, but was not available, pissed it away, went away, is now back.
But he's back and is better than before.
I think he is. That's the thing. So look, as a caveat, I placated him by saying, let's do this run that you want to do, which was a no flame breath, no electric breath thing, except unless you absolutely needed it to get in. And that really was one of my downfalls there, because I was absolutely abysmal.
You played
I played myself. It was just horrible. It was fun to play into the Dragonfly in that weird way of, it's not really done that often on the channel and everything.
Yeah.
But all it makes me want to sort of see more than anything though is actually, which is in development, still working on it, is the Reignited Trilogy Enter the Dragonfly hack, because that game, the loading screens, even with the 60 FPS patching and fixing up, it is just so slow. It is so mind-numbingly slow. Yeah, it sucks. The loading, it was a 50-minute run. At least 10 minutes of that had to have been loading. I truly think it was at least. All the levels went in and exited. Yeah, ridiculous. So congrats, Keyford. I believe we said that would be for Classic contendership. So I'm fairly sure he will now be in Classic contention.
Has he ever been in Classic contention before?
No.
No.
So first time for everything.
Wow.
Then, in a first time for everything match that we've never seen before as well, because I have obviously I've raced Keyford in the past, but the team of Second Impact, this is your second go.
Second go, second chance.
It's a second chance on life.
Duos. Second chance.
That's right. And the only reason why there are 2 sets of footprints on the beach is because that was the second take. But it was yes, Liam and Angus taking on Punching Squirrels, or returning Punching Squirrels. Now, Punching Squirrels, they alleged that it was actually an inside job to get rid of them in that video that they did before, where Amelia was talking about how the host wanted to get rid of Punching Squirrels, and so we made it so they would break up. It could only be 2 people in the tag league last year, and Amelia was the one that lost. Mayo won, and then I guess the Punching Squirrels kind of became. What did they become? They were like, not a Judas, but what is it? The Mega Monkeys, or Mega Monkey Minds, or whatever, that team from last year. So that'll happen. These guys, nonetheless, they're back and they beat you. So what do you have to say?
Better than before.
Apparently, yeah.
What do I have to say? Well, I expected a little bit more out of my partner. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. You know what? I think that is fair, because you had been absent.
He said, I could do this is his words, and he's not here to say it for himself, so I'm going to speak for him. He said he could do it with 1 hand. He said, Liam, I don't actually need you for this second impact. Sit in the corner and watch. I said, well, I may as well pretend to at least try. and you can see how much his words are worth.
That's right, nothing.
Nothing.
You know what? He's not even here either. He can't even back it up. He legitimately cannot speak. He has a mouth but cannot speak. He has eyes but cannot see. What is his name? Nicholas Linders.
I have a mouth but do not speak. I have a bed but never sleep. What am I?
A river.
Nicholas Linders.
I think that's the wrong answer section.
Fuck this shit.
But yeah, so yeah, unbelievably disappointing performance from my coach.
Punching Squirrel is a very good team. So
Yeah, and also the reason, and one of the reasons why we thought this match would be perfect was it's actually it's the second in the earlier in the year, at the very start of this year. I think it was Spyro Kingdom. There was Liam versus Amelia in a singles match, and you won.
I won.
She insisted it was a draw. It was not a draw. You indeed won.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess Amelia getting her revenge there. So yeah, well done to her. Then we had what was it? Really just a shocking affair here. We had Charity Royale versus the challenger, I guess, for fighting for not the title, not the ISGP title, but a classic title shot, was Skater 6453, and Skater gets the shock win, the biggest win of his speedrunning career by far, bar none.
Huge upset.
Yeah, it's huge, absolutely huge. Now look, Nick was a good sport about it, and then he did Spyro 1. He knew that the Skater was very good at Spyro 1. That was where his bread was buttered. Skater recently won the Spyro Treasure Tournament, which is another tournament hosted on the BFF's channel. So that he's won a Spyro tournament, not an ISGP, but he has won a Spyro tournament against some formidable adversaries, some opponents. So he's good. We always knew he was good. Problem is he kept getting knocked out round one. He kept getting unlucky.
Yeah.
He kept getting put into tough groups. You know.
This is a seeding problem, not a skill problem.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Seeing problem, not a skill
Take
problem.
that one up with the host.
That's right. We'll address all of that later. But yeah, absolutely. Nick coming in hot, bit heelish, sort of egging him on. Can you beat me? You know, everyone says you're good. Are you good? Well, the question was answered, and quite emphatically, honestly. So congrats to Skater. And yeah, that means that if you're looking at it now. Well, we'll talk about it straight after this next one. Was the classic match, the actual classic, not number one contenders, but actual title match, and that was Muddy taking on Antonio Curtis and Yoga Romeo, and Muddy getting the job done once again. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. He got the job done. That's what he did. Liam definitely watched it. He loved it. He said, he called me in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. to say, I just finished watching this race.
I couldn't possibly love this.
Yeah. So it was, no, but honestly though, it was a very good race. And it was, look, Muddy is just, it was points based. Muddy is very good at these. I mean, this race is like super common sort of thing, but Muddy really knows how to, I think, compartmentalize into the 3 games, and overall he got it done once again. Congratulations to Muddy, which leads us to what will be the next match. So where this will happen is probably, I can't say just yet, but it will be soon. We will be having, if it can work, if the time zones can work, it might not. It might be one of those ones where it's just going to be too hard to do. I hope not, just with work schedules. But tentatively, the plan will be
Simple.
The plan is simple. It'll be Kiefer versus Skater versus Muddy for the classic title. Is that a match you ever thought you could have ever seen, ever?
Only in my dreams.
That's right.
So I've been dreaming of this.
And you know what? I'll go get his dream journal right now, and I'll find one from a couple of months ago, and it will say, gee, I wish I had Kiefer versus Skater versus Muddy.
Yes. Yeah, little love hearts.
Little love hearts around it, yeah, that's right. And then the split paralysis demon came, but and who was he dressed up as?
He was dressed up as
Nasty
North himself.
Or could James Jones be someone haunting your nightmares?
Well, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, interesting. So, this one, believe it or not, a lot of the time lately we've been compartmentalizing these videos and then doing other announcements and stuff like that. You know, because we're almost killing two birds, one stone type thing, like with the egg struggle and whatnot. We're not going to talk about what the next events are or when they will be, but just know that in the pipeline, truly in the pipeline, as Angus would say, we have some very, very exciting things coming up. We have some stuff that will be, we'll have some people that will be ascending up the ranks, if you will, to compete in some important matches that will lead to the end of the year, that will lead to Spyro Kingdom, that will really kind of shape how things will look next year. Now that's very kind of a weirdly cryptic kind of way of talking about it, but there's just lots of stuff that is coming up that is really going to matter, and wins and losses and winning and losing is really important. Obviously, it's above all, it's still about having fun. But we want to make sure that, you know, you get rewarded for winning. We addressed, it was actually Liam that came up with the idea of doing a survey, which we recently participated, we recently let the survey participate in to talk about the good and perhaps the bad and definitely the ugly of ISGP, because there's, you know, plenty of ugly. Just look at us, right?
Well,
yeah. But, you know, no, I'm kidding. You got to have self-confidence. We're not ugly at all. But I think, you know, so we talk about that. What was your mentality behind doing a survey? What did you want to see as someone, as a former mod? What were you looking to see, I guess, from the survey?
In like a speedrunning community like this, everyone is, their major appeal is everyone's gonna have a little bit of a different major appeal. Like for me, I really like to do one specific game on Spyro 1, the other two are less meaningful to me. The other parts of the things that I like is just hanging out with everyone. You know, I know I'm not going to put in a lot of effort to win a tournament, but I'm going to have fun playing the games with people. And I think possibly if I feel this way, other people feel this way too. And it's good that we can all have a conversation, speak about what we like best, and respect each other, and like, you know, egg each other on, and enjoy, like, talk about it, that kind of thing. And I think that's what maybe has been missing a bit.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing about this too, is that we won't, obviously it was an anonymous survey, so we won't give our individual results out, but just broadly, some of the things that we found that were, you know, nice and enlightening were that basically almost every single person, they say they value the races and community elements equally. Yeah. But then overall, the bigger vote, like what just edged it out, was the community. So overall, it seems like if you had to put a choice of what people prefer, it is overall the community itself over the races, but people do love the races too. So it's all about that variety. What we also found is that people seem to want to have there be perhaps more tournaments, more things that are going to count towards things. And they want to be more included with the events. They feel like sometimes with the events, what was happening was you were getting a little bit too much of the same people. It was, I think Mr. Gameson, he was telling me, Connor David, he was saying that, you know, he hadn't been in an event, I think, since 2021. And so that's a good point. He's a fairly prominent figure. He hasn't been in a thing because we've been factoring in the titles and everything like that, and maybe getting a little bit swept up in who's the title holders over maybe more doing just general sign-ups to enter these events. On that topic as well, overwhelmingly, people say that they understand that if they're a champion, they have to defend, but they would prefer to be asked to be in an event over just automatically signing them up, right? So, and because it comes down to who's free at what time and life. I'm sure that with Melee, in Melee community, it's similar. You don't just go, oh, you're in it. You know, you do have to.
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. How was there was actually a massive, which would be a dream for ISGP one day to actually do this. You had a massive event in Adelaide for Melee.
We had the Big Cheese 3 here in Adelaide, South Australia for Super Smash Bros. Melee and Ultimate and other fighting games. Players from all around Australia flew into beautiful Adelaide. It was a bit of bad weather, but it was still beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's good to see everyone coming together, playing the game. Went out for a bunch of drinks afterwards, did some dancing, good to see familiar faces. But a bit tricky with a big international community.
Yeah.
Maybe one day in the pipeline we could host a, if I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but maybe we could host a 2-day event.
That was, we talked about this like ages ago. I reckon it was one of the meetups with with Antonio actually. I think it was like, we were in Japan or something like that. We were saying like their dream would be one day to actually have an in-person event. I don't think that's not in the pipeline right now, but it's just an illuminating thought. You know, why I tie it into that is, and the Melee event is the whole thing about the community aspect. It's like that's a great example. It's like in the Melee community overall, I think the predominant factor is the game, but the added bonus is the community that has built up over the last decade or so.
100%.
And so with ISGP, it's a little bit in reverse. It's probably overall more community, but we've got this nice balance and we want to make sure that people are feeling included. So we thank everyone for doing the survey. The feedback is invaluable. And I think that while I can't say exactly what's happening next year, I feel like next year we'll be able to achieve what has been asked, what has been suggested, while doing the things that ISGP still does best and blending that in, because there's questions. When is there going to be Spyro Kingdom? What happened to the Super League? Is Spyro Speedruns Cup happening next year, and such? And those questions will be answered very, very soon. Cannot wait to share them. But until now, we'll say goodbye for now. And tomorrow or so, when Angus's voice is better, we'll be there to talk about the upcoming stuff, the next few things. So it's very exciting.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, very much so. All right, thank you very much for watching. I've been CrystalFissure. That's been Liam formerly from St. Lucia, now TBH. Are you TBH now? Is that what you want it?
Well, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't know. Okay. That's not Fraser knocking on the door, it's just some kind of weird sound. Thank you for watching and goodbye.